As you know, Dr. Roberts' Vision New England is a parachurch organization and devoted to and very much caring about cooperative relationships in the larger body of Christ. And I think your example is very instructive. Someone has described the attempt to lead pastors together in the same direction as it's like herding cats. And and I also think, isn't it true, Dr. Roberts, that pastors, particularly in today's time, they're somewhat cynical because there's not a day that goes past that you're not being invited to join something or support something. And I think a lot of pastors, frankly, feel kind of hustled. But relationship is the key, isn't it? It's that one-on-one investment to show genuine concern and to establish trust. And anyone who wants to be involved in cooperative work would do well, I think, to follow your example. Man, you described so many excellent things that are being done. What are some of the most notable things that the BMA is doing today that you might point out?
Well, the BMA has a number of programs, some of which were started after I stepped down as a president. During my 10 years, the major program that we had was an after-school program.
Oh, okay.
And that was a decision on the part of myself and my colleagues that we could only afford to do one major programmatic initiative.
Okay.
That we did not want to spread ourselves too thinly, or else we would not be able to accomplish anything. So we chose education as where we would focus our attention. And that has been very, very successful. If I had the time, I would share with you how it got off the ground and some of the challenges that we faced in getting the program going. But today, the Victory Generation after-school program is, in fact, what it's called now is the out-of-school program rather than after-school program.
Okay.
Is still going strong. We try to get students from our poorest neighborhoods who are failing in school or who are not doing very well, and try to get them to at least a B in their average. We have a number of churches that participate in this.
I was going to ask that. This is done in member churches?
In member churches.
Neighborhoods?
Right. At one time, we used to run it from the office of the BMA.
Okay.
But we realized that that was not the best way of spending our time.
Okay.
So what we try to do now is to be an intermediary organization. We raise the funds to give to both the faith-based organizations, them churches, as well as community-based organizations, so that they can better do social ministry.
Okay. So did they apply to you for a grant?
Yes.
Yeah.
They apply for grants, and what we do in order to ensure that there is no favoritism is that we have professional grant makers on the committee who read the proposals and then recommend to us the ones that should be the ones that should receive funding. So they can't say, because someone is my friend.
Right. Right. How many proposals do you know on average how many proposals you entertain in a given year?
It's difficult for me because I don't handle that part of it. My executive director, the Reverend David Wright, is the one who heads this up, and of course we have different staff members who deal with this part of it. But we not only serve the faith-based organizations, but also community-based organizations, because they're doing a great job in the community and need the support that we can give to them, especially after we were able to get some funding from the Health and Human Services Department.
All right.
For 3 years, we had $2 million a year from them in order to build the capacity of faith-based and community-based organizations. What we found at the outset is that the community-based organizations were much better prepared to both write proposals as well as to report on what they were doing than the churches.
Yeah.
So we had to step back and have programs to assist the churches to to learn how to write proposals and how to manage the funds that they received. And that has worked out well, because what we tried to do was to give 50% of the funds to churches and faith-based organizations, and 50% to community-based organizations.
Okay, all right.
But a lot of that took place after I stepped down. So as the President Emeritus, I'm on the board because that's one of the privileges, and so I can still use my influence to shape certain things. But basically, my colleagues have done a wonderful job, and we now have a professional staff which allows us to do the work better than when I was running it. Because when I was the president, everything took place from People's Baptist Church. I had to use my secretary, my deaconesses to do breakfast and provide space for meetings. So everything took place at People's in the 10 years that I was there.
Okay.
Until I stepped down, and then it went to Jubilee Christian Church with Bishop Thompson.
Yeah. One of the things I've admired about you from a distance, we've not been close, but I've known you for several years, is that you don't have a parochial vision. And even what you just described, the involvement of with the community, with the larger community, and with the church. And I imagine that that has been very beneficial both ways. As you talked about, there's a skill set and level of experience there in the public sector that often is lacking in the church. And I suppose the churches have benefited from that, from being able to access that. And would it also be true, Dr. Roberts, that by engaging in this benevolence, not only within the faith-based community, that it's been a good witness to the faith and to the churches?
Yes, it has been, and because of the number of things that we do as an alliance, because you had asked me the question as to what they are doing now.
Yes.
I just noted a few things that we were doing. For example, we have the Boston Capacity Tank, which helps faith-based and community-based organizations to deal with the needs of youth and families. We have the High Risk Youth Network, which is a network of 48 community-based organizations and faith-based organizations and government agencies to assist with youth violence. We have a Girls Initiative Network, which tries to work with girls and young women in the criminal justice system.
Okay.
We also have a Fiscal Partnership Initiative, where we try to help smaller organizations with their administrative and financial operations.
Okay.
So we are doing a number of things which our capacity enables us to do, because we have the organizational capacity to do a lot of things, which some of the small organizations don't have.
Right.
So, for example, we are taking over the administrative and financial aspects of 10-Point Coalition, so they can focus on programs.
Okay.
But there are a number of people who are always coming to us, wanting us to partner with them to do things which may not always be in the best interest of our organizations. So we are very careful in terms of what we do.
Excuse me. But the point is that the Ministerial Alliance is perceived as a go-to
Yes.
organization.